right, MMA Maniacs, it's time once again for your weekly MMA podcast called Split Decision. We bring you the MMA news, break down the fights, look at upcoming fight cards, of course, talk about the Ultimate Fighter as well. It's Bueller and Dodge, the mic at the Rula Family Inc. Studios. You can check us out on Spreaker, Stitcher, SoundCloud, subscribe on iTunes, or you can also get us on our website, which is official. What is it? SplitDecisionMMA.com?
I don't like this.
You don't like it?
Why is it directed just to me?
Here, I'll turn it around so now it's looking at me in my awesome Elvis hair. So yeah, we got some news today, of course, and we have a fight to look forward to tomorrow. We had the Ultimate Fighter on Wednesday night. Was there a fight card last week?
Yeah, you watched it.
I did watch it.
Yeah. We talked about it.
That's
briefly.
Right. That's right. Oh, it's not on me. It's not on my face. Here, look at you.
What? No. What? Stop it.
All right, so we jump into the news this time around with Ronda Rousey.
What's a Periscope?
It's the thing from Twitter.
Oh, okay.
It's like so you can broadcast to everybody.
Right.
And we have 2 people watching you right now.
Wow, dude. Is it you and me?
Yeah, it is.
Ronda Rousey is on the New York Times bestseller list. She's now at number 17 of the top 20 books.
Good for her.
Yeah.
I mean, Walmart wouldn't sell her.
I think they
ended up breaking. They ended up giving
broke
it.
down.
It's
They
all
broke down.
publicity.
They didn't put her on the shelves. You had to order it.
Order
They brought
it,
it out of the
special
back
order
room
it.
in a brown bag. So nobody could see you carrying out the Ronda Rousey book.
Didn't they do that for Brock Lesnar's book though? But that was because he had a penis on his chest.
Yeah, well, because you can't shake it up and down real quick.
It had a little bar across it, like you buy porn.
A censor bar.
Had a penis on my chest.
So have you got a chance to read the book yet? My Fight, Your
No,
Fight?
no.
I'm waiting for
read something.
Oh, you're waiting for a copy?
We were waiting for a copy.
Is it in the mail?
Sure.
You're telling us
With
it's in the mail?
with those checks, those extra checks we got coming too.
Oh, we're getting checks.
We're getting paid finally.
I said checks.
Check.
Checks mix. Czechoslovakians.
Recently, both Miesha Tate and Sara McMann came out and said that they feel that the Reebok deal is unfair to women's MMA because it's not fair that they were unable to be on a larger scale fighting to basically have a back catalog of fights. Since Reebok said that they would count the fights from anything owned by Zuffa. We talked about this a little bit before.
Yeah.
With WEC and Strikeforce. Well, there's a couple women that were in Strikeforce that are still in the UFC
So are they
roster.
not counting the Invicta?
They're not counting anything Invicta.
That's kind of dirty.
And they're not counting anything else that they've ever done. So if they have a low record, they're going to start out just like a guy with a low record.
Yeah, and
they're basically saying, the women are saying, hey, this is not fair because we weren't allowed into MMA for a long time. We didn't have a platform that the men had.
But what were they paid per fight in Invicta?
I don't know. I'd have to see those numbers.
is my cameraman
It's not something I've looked up.
Oh, there's 2 people watching.
So
Hi.
the UFC has responded saying, the new UFC athlete outfitting policy equally recognizes athletes' tenure in the UFC as well as bout appearances in WC and Strikeforce. Women fighters with limited bouts under the tenure model are treated the same as experienced men or women new to the UFC from other organizations not included in the tenure model. The policy is designed to provide an equal opportunity for both men and women in the tenure tier. In addition, champions and challengers, regardless of tenure, will be equally compensated under the new policy. Do you think...
I think the Reebok deal's stupid all the way around.
A lot of people are complaining still about it.
And it's like, as much as Dana White tries to defend it and say, well, it's no different than any other sports organization has, you got guys who play football, basketball, baseball, whatever.
Yep.
They're getting a regular salary. These people are only getting paid when they fight, and they're only getting paid from Reebok when they fight. They don't have any steady income to count on. If you got like a $17 million contract in any other national sporting organization, you count on that money. A $17 million contract, 8 of it's guaranteed. So if you break your ankle, you still have $8 million.
And this is what Jose Aldo says. He recently came out and says they asked him about the Reebok deal. He said, first of all, it's shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Everybody's been talking about it. We as athletes are losing a lot. They said it should be like the NBA or the NFL athletes, but that doesn't apply because we are not paid monthly like they are. It doesn't matter how much we get paid. All the athletes who had sponsors are losing money. It's a huge setback. We live for each fight. We have to keep fighting, and nobody fights more than 3 times a year, not at least as a champion. Even the value they measure doesn't match what our sponsors were paying us. It's a great deal for the UFC, but not for the fighters. I see a lot of athletes losing too much. If you're a beginner, there is not that big of a hurry to get paid, but it still isn't that much. Still not enough, at least, to get by them, at least. I don't like it. Ever since they started talking about this, I asked to see what they are offering, and they never thought it was interesting, especially for the champions. So he's pretty pissed off. Dana White says, well, Venom basically paid him. They offered him, they told him what he was going to get paid from the Reebok, and Venom actually paid him more then the Reebok was going to pay him to keep him as an athlete, a Venom-sponsored athlete. Even though he's not allowed to wear Venom in the cage.
Really?
Dana White's also talked about Ronda Rousey, who's never once worn a single sponsor in the cage other than UFC, even though she's sponsored by multiple companies. And yet she's still making money off of her sponsorships. How is that possible?
Well, that's something that we did. We talked about that. We talked about the fact that there's a lot of people that do the Twitter, or not Twitter thing, well, Twitter, Instagram,
Yep.
whatever. They use social media for their sponsorships.
Yep.
And there's people outside of sports that do that and do just fine doing that. However, to try to say this Reebok deal is good is bullshit.
yeah,
it's a lie.
It's a little cloudy, especially right now.
Initially, like a lot of people, especially for the smaller fighters, nobody's gonna want to sponsor a smaller fighter by name alone.
Again, this works great for the smaller fighters. But for anybody mid-range or above,
but the thing
it does nothing.
I mean, it does okay for the smaller fighters. But the thing is,
At least they're getting something.
when the smaller fighters were still getting sponsored, they weren't doing it on name alone. They were doing it because these people wanted their
Exposure.
business exposure.
For sure.
to the
Right.
cage.
They wanted to get in the ring.
Yeah, and now you can't do that if you're 2 fights into the UFC. Nobody's going to come to you and be like, "Hey, can you put this on your Instagram because you
Right.
have 1 million followers?" It's just not how it works.
I think, but I don't know. I think that if you market yourself right, even like you talked about before, about being able to, you could get a guy $1,000 here. It's not a big deal to get in the ring. I mean, it kind of is, but it kind of isn't. You know what I mean? You should still, like you say, like Ronda Rousey, you should still be able to work your sponsorship the way that you want to. Like you said, she never had to wear them in, yet she's got an armful of people who would throw money at her.
Yep.
And it was that way coming out of the Olympics. It's not like she just all of a sudden picked up steam. They've been, I mean, as big as she is now, she's always been a star. Even coming out of the Olympics, she's been a star.
Right, and I'm not saying that because I mean we've talked about this ad nauseum for the last few weeks since the deal was announced. But the problem here is like a lot of people. I know this from where I work. They want the exposure. They want to be in the ring because it's almost tangible to them.
I wonder if they're still allowed to talk about their sponsors at the very end. Can they still say, "I'd like to thank my sponsor, so and so"?
You
You're
can't
not wearing anything.
You can't spray tan them in.
You can't spray tan them. We
Can't
know that.
spray
You
tan
can't
them
wear
in.
any of your sponsors. You say, I like can Cerrone be like, yeah, I like Budweiser still. I'm gonna go home and drink Budweiser.
Still a Budweiser drinker.
I'm still a Budweiser drinker. I still want to thank my Tap Out clothing
Yeah.
for hooking me back up in the day or hooking me up outside of the cage or something like that. Are they still allowed to say anything like that?
Because there's a couple fighters that got Wu-Tang, right?
Yeah.
They do. They got the big Wu-Tang burn on their back.
I mean, I'm just wondering. You don't see any NFL athletes really doing that often, but again, they're allowed to wear whatever they want outside of. I mean, Beast Mode's wearing his Beast Mode hat. You know what I mean? Tom Brady's wearing his own brand.
They better not be wearing Beast by Dre.
You know that's funny
You can't be
because
doing that anymore.
now that you're saying it like that, I think I remember when we were younger in the NFL going through the thing with Jimmy Mack about what names you wear, what socks, So I think that, that's where we're at with this sport. We're trying to figure out
Where the medium is,
yeah.
or where the balance hangs.
But it's just unfair to compare this sport to other sports.
It is.
Because
of pay.
Aldo said, because of pay. These guys are only getting paid on a per fight basis versus having a steady income. So
Something that definitely has to be looked at too as the UFC goes along. I mean, right now we got this. Right now the UFC's decided to up their minimum purse as now a 10-10 split. 10,000 to show, 10,000 to win. Minimum. First fight in the UFC, you're guaranteed 10,000.
Yeah, and earlier somebody
not
had said that most people won't fight more than 3 fights, and then we've got a handful of guys that fought.
There's a handful of guys, but that's the thing is you got Cerrone, who's I want to fight every time I can.
Yeah, right.
And then you got champions that they space them out 3 times a
Right.
year, not just necessarily because they want it. I mean, Demetrius Johnson's trying to get a fight in September, and he just fought, but it's because they want to space out the pay-per-view numbers.
And then it seems like also everybody gets into that championship position, and then they're injured.
Yeah, training a lot harder, man.
Oh, the 10-10 thing is pretty appealing. It's pretty awesome for new fighters.
Sara McMann, who is obviously not happy with the whole Reebok deal, says now she wants to fight. She doesn't care who. She's ranked number 4 right now in the 135 women's division. She says she will fight anybody in the top 15. In fact, she will fight anybody even if they're unranked. She says it's better than no fight at all. I'm gaining experience in here. If they're not as good and I have really good performance, it puts me closer to title shot rather than sitting down and doing nothing. If the other girls don't want to fight me because I'm that good, then I deserve a title shot. Isn't that who you want to put against your title holder? Someone other people are avoiding. There's not one person in my weight class that I would say no to a fight. Not one. Even the strongest contenders, it doesn't matter. It says the only other higher contender would be Ronda, and I would absolutely say yes to that. Everybody else is still a no-brainer. I just need the other girls to be willing to step up. I understand that it's hard. I'm a hard person to fight. Having the wrestling credentials and improving on my striking doesn't matter. That's what you're supposed to do. That's your job. You can't dodge people that are working hard and getting better. If they want to fight me, I'd like to fight July 15th.
Who's dodging?
She's just saying anybody. If anybody turns her down, she's saying you're dodging her.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like we just said.
Other than you're injured. I mean, in reality, what does anybody have to lose? I kind of agree with her. If you're in the top 15, you're not willing to fight her. Why?
Yeah, that's what I don't understand. I mean, I understand when someone's like 5 and they don't want to fight 12 because it means nothing to them and they take the possibility of an injury.
Right.
But when it's number 4 asking 12, hey,
yeah,
let's hook it up.
Anybody,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I understand it. I just don't know why she's saying it if nobody's dodging her. She makes it sounds very accusatory.
I think she's more just saying, I want to fight. Anybody wants to fight me, let's come fight. If you don't want to fight me, then what are you doing in the division?
And
that's how I think she's bringing it
She might
across.
just be being respectful, too, where she don't want to call out anybody specific.
Yeah.
But she's got a list of people that maybe her manager or somebody tried to hook up and didn't want the fight.
James McSweeney, who fights over at One Championship, remember that's formerly One FC.
Yeah.
One Championship apparently got released because he put something on his Facebook. And he put on his Facebook, I haven't fought since December. It's now coming up to June. 6 months, no fight. Constantly in shape, ready for nothing. I'm a fighter, a real fighter that needs to fight. No, not one that says he is happy to sit around. I haven't had come this far in my life and my career to waste it to it, and things need to change. Apparently, they now released him because of this. Because of this post. He says, it's upset me because of the childishness of the way it was done. For 2 years, I gave them my career. I fought 3 times. I gave my heart in all my fights, won by big knockouts. I did a lot of social media and appearances for them. This is unprofessional. After 2 years of frustration, I put it on Facebook, and this is what happened.
You and Ben Askren should bunk up. Right? I mean, these are 2 guys that, again, went on their own terror at whatever level this is.
Yeah.
Well, he did fight on the Ultimate Fighter 10. He wasn't in McSweeney was there. It's interesting to see. We have not heard yet back from One FC One Championship.
It's hard. What are they? They're just the One Championship.
One CEO Victor
One.
Cui. We haven't heard back from him yet, so I'd like to see what their actual reasons are. If this is the actual reason, he's saying he got released because of Facebook.
I don't think they're going to release a statement. I don't think that they
Ever
care to.
just like
No.
he's just gone.
I think just yeah.
It's starting to just sound like World Series of Fighting.
A lot of issues.
Yeah. You know, and they're going to run into that with American fighters, I think, because people from other countries are probably just glad to whatever,
Just to have a paycheck.
Yeah.
for whatever,
Paycheck for fighting.
right? And when you're overseas, I mean, you're running up bills here and overseas.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
Rafael dos Anjos, who recently captured the lightweight title, says that he sees a potential move to welterweight. He would like to be like BJ Penn, possibly like Ben Henderson. He would like to defend his belt a few times and then move up to welterweight. How do you see Rafael dos Anjos doing? I mean, he hasn't even had his first title defense yet.
I mean, it's getting a little mouthy for not having your first title defense yet.
And he's
But
already
then-
saying, lightweight, and then I'm going welterweight.
Yeah, but he's a big lightweight.
He's a big lightweight.
So, I mean, I can see it as obviously it's a possibility. He's got the skill. He has the strap for a reason.
Yeah.
So it'd be interesting to see if he makes that move after a couple title defenses, what he can do with it, really.
Do you see any interesting matchups for him there, welterweight?
I think I can think of off the top of my head now.
Okay.
I remember when we thought that Nate was going to run through him.
Yeah.
That did not happen.
He's busy at the Cypress Hill concert. The UFC class action lawsuit has been transferred to Nevada.
Which they own. Is nobody else see what's happening here?
No, I mean this is in the article here. They talked about this was filed in Northern California District in San Jose. It's been transferred to Nevada.
How did he get transferred to Nevada? Was that at the UFC's request?
No, yeah, of course they've been trying to transfer it to Nevada. Of course they've been trying to transfer it to Nevada. Basically, they got a judge to transfer it. They said it's been transferred. Let's see.
Zuffa wins their motion to transfer. Judge sends a class action. Okay.
Yeah, for those celebrating or mourning the transfer of the motion, it's not that big of a deal. Nevada is considered more business friendly. Definitely helps the defense, but in either venue, it didn't guarantee a result either way. What really hurts the plaintiffs, though, is if they're going to need a local law firm. Major firms in Vegas who doesn't work with the Fertittas are going to be hard to find.
Yeah, because they've had to, everybody has had to represent the Fertittas or a fighter or somebody who works backstage for UFC.
John Fitch says, so we'll go to hell and fight the devil in his hometown. It'll make for a better victory.
Maybe they can get Aaron Brockovich
Off to war.
help out.
They're called boobs, Jerry.
It's going to be interesting to see what happens.
I don't think it's so much interesting to see what happens. Like, this is laughable at this point in time.
Do you think so? I think it's just...
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's like taking Donald Trump to court in Atlantic City.
Yeah, they don't get Aaron Brockovich on this shit, then they ain't gonna win at all.
Oh, but where do you think would be the fairest place to have this trial?
Switzerland.
Yes.
I mean, if that's where if the UFC can go there and bust fucking FIFA and promise us to never have a World Cup in the United States again because we're going to take out every single one of the charter members, including the president who was forced to step down, let's go to Switzerland.
Hey, they always said if you want to find corruption in FIFA, hold one of the World Cups in the Middle East.
Yeah.
And they did it, and it happened.
UFC's like, nope, not going to happen.
That soccer field has oil underneath it.
The UFC has decided to, starting July 1st, institute their new PED program. They have teamed up with the United States Anti-Doping Agency. That is the non-profit, non-government organization that is recognized by Congress as the official anti-doping agency for Olympic, Pan American, and Paralympic sports. They're going to start the drug testing with the UFC. They have made a bold step forward saying that any first offense, 2 years with the possibility of 2 additional years for aggravating circumstances for drug failure.
What's an aggravating drug failure?
I don't know.
One that really pisses Dana off.
Yeah.
So, did you watch this live? Did you watch?
I didn't
any
get
of
a chance to watch it live.
I saw bits and pieces. I really truly believe I've seen somebody in a lab coat.
Second offense is double the sanction of the first. Third offense is double the sanction of the second. Punishments for non-specified substances: 1 year suspension with the possibility of additional 2 years for aggravating circumstances. I think it's if you run, or there's conspiracy. There you go. Which include aggravating circumstances include previous drug failures, egregious intent, conspiracy with others, multiple substances, and other factors.
So if you just accidentally took some drugs, then you don't get aggravating circumstances. But if you knew you were getting high,
right?
Like if you fail your pot test for the 3rd fucking time.
Yeah.
Oh, Nick's fucked.
No. Wiping the slate clean. Start all over.
What?
Yeah.
Start all over. Starting July 1st.
No, but it says
now.
What? But the first offense says including previous failures.
If possible.
From now on.
From now on.
No tags back.
Yeah.
What?
Dude, we're at the tree. We're safe.
Yeah, we're in the
No,
trust tree.
why would
in
it
the
say
trust
previous
tree.
failures? You can't have if it's a first offense and they're not counting previous failures. Then why would it even say that in there?
From now on.
That's what aggravating
From now
circumstances
on.
is.
If you had one after that, then
That's what aggravating. They're just saying that's what aggravating circumstances is. You want to know what aggravating?
No,
If you had a
it's-
previous drug failure,
No, I don't understand
your
this.
first drug failure.
They're shaking the
ever.
Etch-a-Sketch, brother. They're shaking
But
the
they're
Etch-a-Sketch.
not. That statement says they're not.
There's also going to be a
And it
whist.
doesn't matter because Nick is always high. It's
true.
He's going to have his first, second, and third offense in the same fucking month.
Hey, I don't think Nick's coming back anyway.
Yeah, well, he can't now.
There's a whistleblower line made available to fighters, which will encourage those for information on doping to come forward.
Oh, I totally expect Tommy Toehold to have some whistleblower calls. I'm gonna message him that you need some whistleblower calls. Hello, this is Jesus. No, I mean this is not Vitor.
Is that a public number for the whistleblower?
I haven't seen the number yet. Do we
it's
just
a
get to make calls?
I'm going to start calling in John Jones every month.
Pretty sure he's high. Did you get a chance to see the 911 call?
No.
Somebody put up on YouTube?
No.
One of the first people on scene was making a YouTube video of the entire thing, and you see the cars. They're pretty fucked.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, and you see the pregnant woman just sitting there on the side, holding her arm, and she's like, "Yeah, the guy just took off. I was on a green light, and he just plowed right into me, and then he took off running, jumping over fences."
Way to go, John.
Someone made a grainy one that looked like a Bigfoot kind of thing. Because they say he left and came back, you know.
He came back to get a fistful of cash.
Yeah.
Gotta hide everything.
He had In-N-Out condoms. I like that. That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Ode to California, you know.
In-N-Out condoms?
Yeah.
I didn't know
They
made
look
those.
like the In-N-Out sign.
They had the cross palm tree.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. Yeah, well, I mean, whatever. Yeah, I want that number because I want to call in every other month. I saw John Jones doing coke in the back of a bar.
Pretty sure I did.
We got to check you, John.
We gotta
You're
check
gonna
you,
say
John.
no.
We gotta
I know
call.
We know you're going to say no. You always say no. But look, we got this tip.
Yeah.
I swear to God, I was at my mom's house. We still got to check.
Gotta check.
Every other month. I saw John Jones doing coke.
Hey, this is Chuck Liddell. Who has cocaine? Who has cocaine? Oh, this is not that line? Never mind. This is the drug hotline.
UFC President Dana White was recently on the Ultimate UFC Tonight on Fox Sports 1 and announced that Luke Rockhold will officially fight Chris Weidman for the middleweight title.
Awesome.
They're saying this will possibly be happening at UFC 191 in September.
This was started on Twitter again, right?
What do you mean?
Did these two kind of rap at each other about setting it up first?
They've been trying to talk about. Everyone's been talking about it. He's probably the most deserving guy over Jacare, especially because he has a win over Jacare.
I think, Luke said something on social media recently.
Yeah, trying to push for it.
Yeah.
And then, much to Ryan Bader's dismay, Daniel Cormier will most likely be fighting Alexander Gustafsson against Daniel Cormier for the light heavyweight championship.
I don't even understand. Yeah, that fight makes way more sense to me.
Then Bader, yeah. Even though he is now, the big thing that people are complaining about is that Alexander Gustafsson is coming off of a loss. His loss to Anthony Johnson was his last fight. He is coming off of a loss going into a title shot. He is still ranked number 2, where Ryan Bader is ranked number 3.
Right.
Ryan Bader is also ranked number 3 with Rashad Evans, who's hoping to come back in September. I would have rather seen Rashad Evans fight Daniel Cormier than Ryan Bader, to be honest.
Right. I don't think...
And now they're saying that, in fact, Ryan Bader will fight Rashad Evans for a number 1 title
it's going to be boring as shit.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
There's no way that punch that Cormier endured to stay on his feet, the same punch that took Gustafsson out, that punch kills Bader.
Yeah. So
this kills the Bader.
I don't know. I'm okay with what's going on. A lot of people are upset that Ryan
I'm not
Bader
upset about it at all.
Ryan Bader went all pro wrestling and tried to interrupt the press conference.
He was actually called in. If you think about it,
he was walking into the press conference to hang out and got called out as he walked in.
He's probably smelled like chicken and cake.
That's how Cormier
knew was up.
Is that Bader? Is that Bader? He's got my chicken and cake.
Chicken and cake.
So Rashad Evans, though, like I said, looking to come back in September as well. Do you like that fight?
No, I hate that fight.
And especially he's coming off of an injury recovery, right?
Yeah.
So he's going to be all touchy-feely,
Bader's
50%.
on his 4-fight win streak. He defeated Paroche, who's not ranked. Rafael Cavalcanto, I think, is bottom. OSP, who's still ranked number 12. And then Phil Davis, who's not even ranked because he doesn't fight for the UFC anymore.
Right.
OSP hasn't broken into the top 10 yet?
I think maybe it's Cavalcanti that's...
Yeah, because, dude, didn't he just kill somebody? Talked a bunch of shit on Florida radio the night before and then went in the ring and just killed the guy.
He did really good in his last fight.
He is number 6. I take that back. So, that is Cavalcanti that's at number 10. Rashad Evans, Ryan Bader, both at number 3. I'm okay with the way things are sitting.
I'm fine with it.
Other than it's going to probably Bader and Evans will be a boring fight.
Bader and Evans, you're going to watch Rashad dance a lot with his big wide stance and ducking his head around and stuff, and Bader's going to desperately try for a bunch of takedowns and a big overhand right every once in a while.
There you go.
That's all the fight's going to be.
What do you think about Gustafsson and Cormier?
I like that fight. I mean, Gustafsson is the one who gave Jones the most trouble.
Most trouble.
And, I mean, he got beat by Rumble, but
got destroyed by Rumble.
Nobody knew how Rumble was going to be coming out in that weight class. I mean, the guy just came out like a beast.
Other than when he murdered O'Gara.
It could have been a fluke, though. Nobody knew.
Right. No, he
Bellator has released 7 fighters. One of them being Sogoju.
How can they afford to release anybody? Their ranks are that deep.
Scott Coker doesn't care.
You got to think about who they've picked up lately.
Scott Coker doesn't care.
Just hoping for more.
Razak Al Hassan.
For every 3 of these people,
Antonio Duarte.
It pays one person that they picked up.
I don't know. Maybe we'll see the UFC pick him up since the UFC's released 10 fighters. Tim Elliott, Dylan Andrews, Louis Gannat. I'm surprised Louis Gannat's gone that quick. Rocky Lee, Takehito Matsuda.
How long has Gannat been there?
Alexander Torres. I think it's his 3rd fight.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and he said somewhere recently that he's got 100 to get rid of by August.
Yeah, he's fought. Let's see, he's
Dana
6-4. He was 1-3 in the UFC.
Yeah, 100 fighters he's got to get rid of by August.
Also, Shayna Baszler.
Well, saw that coming.
Yeah, that was about time.
That's the Queen of Spades.
Queen of Spades. Time to go, sweetheart. So you did get a chance to watch UFC Fight Night, Conor versus Alves, even though you somewhat don't remember it.
No, I didn't watch any of it.
What are you talking about? We talked about that you watched it.
Because I saw the GIF.
Oh.
On
That's
Reddit.
it?
Yeah.
All right.
I wasn't even in town, man. I was in fucking Santa Margarita mountain place. Deliverance country.
Yep.
Like around nothing.
It's a good card. I mean,
it's a good card.
I mean, the opening to every card.
It was a good start. It got you excited to watch the rest of them. And
exactly.
then you were somewhat disappointed, but then it ended well.
Yeah, I don't know. The welterweight decision, it was pretty... I thought it was entertaining.
Yeah.
So we kicked it off with Tom Breeze and Louis Dutra on the preliminary UFC Fight Pass card, which finished in the first round due to TKO punches on Tom Breeze.
He moited him.
Yeah.
Moited.
The whole time.
Juliana Lima fought Erica Alameda, and this went to unanimous decision with Juliana Lima coming out on top of that one. And then moving on to your Fox Sports 1 preliminary card, you had Mirsad Bektik up against Lucas Martins. This was a second round TKO, 30 seconds in. Mersad gets the TKO. Then Nicholas Dalby. Isn't that a character on Harry Potter?
Yeah, they gave him a sock, so he's allowed to fight now.
Elizu Zaleski dos Santos. This was a split decision going all the way to the bell. Do you guys have any opinions on this one?
Hey, I was entertained.
Were you entertained?
Oh
Yeah.
It was a good. It was an equal exchange.
It was pretty
Yeah.
even. So yeah,
and it kept going. It just rolled through.
The split decision doesn't surprise me at all. I didn't really see it going either way. Like
Really?
I couldn't really pick.
Yeah, I could see the draw too.
Yeah.
Then we moved on to Husier Formiga going up against Wilson Race. This was a unanimous decision in favor of Husier. And then Rony Jason, you love this guy.
Yeah.
Your boy Rony Jason goes up against Damon Jackson. Triangle choke in the first round, 331.
Slick trying
Yeah,
to
you
choke
should.
too, man.
I don't know, but isn't there a point there where you're just like, "Hey, is this what's about to happen?"
That's pretty much exactly what happened.
Right. Yep.
You realize that your arm is across your neck and they're
Yeah.
closing in that grip, and you're like,
Or hey, what's he doing with that leg? Oh,
I got double armbarred once. I had no idea what was coming.
Really?
And I couldn't tap because I was double armbarred, so I just screamed.
Yell, tap, 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 tap.
I didn't even yell tap because I was so freaked out. Francisco Trinaldo going against Norman. Wait, I skipped one. Darren Till gets a KO with elbows over Wendell Oliveira.
yeah,
Yeah.
throwing them bones.
A lot of people throwing them bones.
Yeah, elbows was a theme of the night, apparently. Francisco Trinaldo up against Norman Park with a split decision as well. Francisco walks away with that one.
I thought Norman Park did enough. I really did. What'd you think, Dennis?
I think I like Norman Park and everything, but I think it's better to see Trinaldo go forward from
All right.
here.
I agree with that. Yeah, I can agree with that one. Francisco Barroso going up against Ryan Jimmo. Ryan Jimmo, I thought was going to win this one, but
Just looked flat, man.
Yeah,
He just
too
didn't
bad.
look like himself.
After watching the first two fights,
Yeah.
it looked like slow motion.
I mean, light heavyweights, they're getting up there in weight, but still.
Yeah,
and this one probably surprised you a bit there, Dodge. KJ Noon's getting submitted by Alex Oliveira.
No, I called that fight.
Did you call that? I thought you said Noon was going to win.
No, I said Nunes is going to lose.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, fine. then. And then another
it's on the tape.
another choke by Charles Oliveira over Nick
Dude,
Lentz.
Bronx?
Yeah, good old Dude Bronx.
Yeah, Nick Lentz just... He tried. He was doing the best he could, trying to use his wrestling, or whatever.
And
but
again, it's like one of those.
Yeah.
God damn it, he's gonna get it.
He's gonna get it. He's gonna.
I'm
there
just
it
gonna
is.
tap. No, I'm not. I'm just gonna tap. No, I'm not.
I'm
I'm
tapping.
tapping.
And then in one of the coolest elbow combinations I think I've ever seen.
I thought Carlos Condit broke his hand because he was throwing so many elbows.
Yeah.
Like he was throwing punches and then just switched up to nonstop elbows where he was shattering Thiago Alves' face.
Comes down, he throws throw a big overhand right that hits Thiago Alves, and then he comes with what looks like an uppercut, but it's an upper elbow.
Up a spinning like back elbow.
And then
up
he comes,
elbow.
yeah, and then he comes over the top again
With another elbow. And he just continued to throw the elbows, caved in Thiago Alves' face, pushed his nose bone up into his forehead somewhere.
It's so horrible.
Like
What's that called again?
He had a huge hematoma on his forehead
Saw
above
the
his
picture.
eye, where I think is where the nose bone got lodged because it was gone. It was sunken in.
and between the hematoma and then the crack, it made it look even worse.
Worse,
It looked
yeah.
like the dent was way into his face.
Yeah, just it was.
He could have collected rainwater with his face.
Yeah, it was pretty brutal.
Eating cereal out of it?
Yeah, definitely.
I'm totally making that gift. Just his face with some Wheaties or
Cheerios
something.
Yeah.
Carlos Condit looking like an absolute animal coming back,
A
man.
natural born killer, man.
Love him.
I can't believe. I wonder who has had the bloodiest career in UFC history, because Condit's got to be up there.
For bloody fights, yeah,
bloody
for sure,
fights.
for sure.
Be curious about that one. So that puts him pretty damn close to a title shot here.
I gotta believe so. I mean, again, we can go back here and see if we can find out what the rankings are. But yeah, Condit coming back just looked pretty damn amazing.
I mean, people
I'm,
are already calling for a title shot.
I'm excited for him. He's ranked number 4 right now. So, and he says he wants to fight the winner of Matt Brown, who's fighting, I think, Woodley.
I would watch Carlos Condit fight almost any of those people except for Rory McDonald.
Nobody wants to see Rory McDonald.
Are you guys surprised there's not more media about this Kimbo Slice fight coming?
The Ken Shamrock Kimbo Slice fight.
Does anybody? Do we need more media?
No, I'm just. It's coming,
Kimbo's
right?
like, I'm gonna fucking knock him out. And Shamrock's like, I'm gonna choke him out. Also, watch my documentary and my upcoming bare knuckle boxing match because I still need the money.
Because you see, that's Twitter world. I know you know what's going on in Twitter world, but I mean, just on TV overall, I haven't seen much media about
No, I mean, if Kimbo Slice and Ken Shamrock fight and there's nobody around, does anybody win? I think that's the question we need to ask here. I don't think anybody wants to watch that fight. How old's Shamrock now? 60? 50? Something like that?
Let's see how Ken Shamrock is.
I think he's 50.
Let's not go to his official website. I don't get sucked into that.
it. You know,
I like how we live Google stuff.
51.
Who wants to watch that?
But isn't Kimbo old too?
You can see this fucking fight on any Little League field across the country.
It's true. Kimbo's 41.
Hey,
You can see this fight on any Little League field across the country. I'm telling you right now.
between a referee and a dad?
Yes. 100%.
Possibly at the Modesto Mall parking lot.
Only if the other opponent's
Only if Kimbo's
chick.
a woman.
Yeah.
That's a woman.
Kimbo's got to be a chick with a really short haircut.
World Series of Fighting is going down tonight. Your favorite fighter, Chris Horodecki, is getting a title shot for the first time in his career.
Are you serious?
Going up against Lance Palmer, who is...
They both have duck faces for
I know, for a
their
Sure Dog
profiles.
profile picture. Lance Palmer is holding on to the belt there.
Oh, God.
Now, if you know the World Series of Fighting belt, you know that it hops around. It has not remained around one person's waist since the inception.
Oh, it's remaining tonight. He's not going to lose to Horodecki.
You don't think Horodecki's going to take it?
I would want Horodecki to just... I hope this is his last fight. I don't want anybody to
Now you
ever-
just willed him to win.
Yep, now it's going to happen.
I hate Horodecki. He's such a cheating bitch.
It's the Polish Hammer, man.
He's the biggest cheater in the sport.
I wouldn't say the
Allegedly,
biggest.
according to Joey Bueller.
Yeah.
No. No. There's video evidence. The guy cheats, man.
There's no cheating fighting.
There's no cheating in street fighting, maybe.
Coming off of his win over Luis Huerte and his recent loss to Marlon Sandro, he's getting a title shot.
I guess if that's the deepest pool they had to draft from.
It's World Series of Fighting, man.
Whatever, man. He made his debut in the IFL as far as like professional fighting goes.
Mm-hmm.
And the guy was just a rope grab. He jumped out of the freaking ring and ran away. When he was getting choked, he jumped out of the ring and ran away and then came back on the other side. Like it was like a cartoon, dude. It was like a cartoon.
I'm looking that up.
And he will grab onto the ropes to help like,
Well, they don't have any ropes.
or he'll grab onto the cage to help a kick. He does it deliberately on purpose. Like the refs have to warn him because he constantly grabs the cage of the ropes to help his kicks. And he jumped out of the damn ring in IFL. I remember this now.
I know why you hate him. We had a whole bracket for this back in the day.
That's right. We did like Joey's most hated fighter.
Yeah, but I think that Scott Smith, I still think wasn't he your most hated?
No, I think Koscheck took it.
I have to go back and check. We'll have to go back and look at that. Go back to the archives. I know Diego Sanchez was in the top.
Yeah.
I know Scott Smith was in the top.
Fucking Scott Smith.
All I got is a bunch of WWE shit.
You can't spell Horodecki, can you?
How is it? How's it spelled?
H-O-R...
You're asking Joey to spell.
Ideski.
And it's not Idski, it's Hideki.
I don't care.
There's no S.
Is there a
It's
CKI?
Polish. It's a CKI. It's Polish, dude.
Yeah. How much you want to bet?
I put Horodecki.
Right now. How much you want to
I
bet?
put that in right there. Runs out of ring.
Go to
Nowhere.
Google Translate.
Go to Google Translate. It'll add the S.
But yeah, he did. He jumped out of the ring one time to avoid a submission. I shit you not. Anyway, moving on.
Moving on. Tomorrow night.
Is
UFC
that World Series of Fighting tonight?
Yes.
I want it. What channel is it on?
World Series of Fighting is on NBC Sports.
They're going to get ratings just for spite. He's like, I'm watching this because I hate him.
I do. See how you see if you know what they need to he needs to fight it. Oh, remember the pit thing they had a long time ago with like the
Yama Pit Fighting.
Yama pit fighting. Put Horodecki in that. I want to see how he does in that.
I think they had two, right? Yama Pit Fighting had like two.
Because you can't grab onto shit in that pit. There's nothing.
Yama Pit Fighting. How many? I think I
It was
know
like 4 foot angled walls.
one for sure.
It's
I don't
like
think they got-
Kumite, but in a hole.
Yeah.
I know they didn't get past. Did they only do one? Yeah, they only did one tournament. They tried to do two, and everything got canceled.
They probably got sued.
No, it was by the guy who created the UFC. One of the guys.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
No, that's where I want.
There you go. Original UFC promoter Bob Merowitz.
Do you have a picture? Do you have a picture of the Yama pit? Can you click on that? Would that do anything? Can I press on it? Does that do anything?
Yeah, just touch the screen.
Touch
See if it
screen?
happens.
This is an exciting podcasting right now.
Exciting podcast. We get to look at the Yama Pit that you can't see. There it is. Look at that. He's getting the choke with the pit.
Nice. Good leverage. I didn't think they had a cage around it for some reason.
Had a cage around it.
Whatever.
That-
Put Horodecki in this thing. Wasn't that the
That's World Series of Kickboxing,
right?
right? That was Chuck Norris's thing.
Chuck Norris. I think it was Chuck something. All right.
Yeah, and what's his name?
How did I forget Chuck Norris? I don't know.
Fat Baby. Pat Barry fought in that.
Yeah, that's where he came from. That's right. Put Horodecki in there. That's what I want to see.
That's what we want to see.
Yeah. See how he
right.
really holds up in something like that when he can't grab on anything or run out of it.
You're so Bitter.
So upset.
So mad.
All right. Well, I guess we're moving on now to
UFC Fight Night 68 going down tomorrow.
First time I've ever bet on DraftKings.
See how it goes. I think you got some solid picks there, bud. I'm actually
What's that?
pretty impressed.
That's $25 buy-in.
Well, okay, you have to make a $25 deposit, but your first bet, like on this, for example,
free.
it was a free entry.
Oh.
So I still have $25 on my ledger, which I can cash out anytime.
Right.
And I have, but I can do this this fight now this weekend.
But it's not gambling.
This is gambling.
No, I know, but it's not gambling. That's what you have to say.
Oh, it's not gambling.
It's a game of skill.
Skill.
Okay, sorry. It's a
Like
game of
just
skill.
like claw machines.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know the rules. To
Which you
that.
recently saw
So,
that video, right? Did anybody see that video?
No.
Where they say claw machines are scientifically proven to be fixed.
Yeah, they are fixed.
Yeah. Well, they're saying it's no longer they can no longer be a game of skill. They're actually a gambling machine.
Oh.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Did not know that.
Because the operator has the opportunity to adjust the claw settings, not only for grip, but also when to drop on so many.
Yep.
Now they can go every 20th one I want it to drop, or every one of 20 will hold, all other 20s will drop.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
It's in the manual to
Garbage.
to do.
But it's the same thing. It's the same software that's in a slot machine.
Yeah.
Garbage. No, okay, so this is a game of skill. So I have to skillfully select which fighters are
Yes.
going to win.
And you have done that.
And I've skillfully selected my roster of 5 fighters.
Yeah, there you go.
I don't know the rules on that, man. I should, but whatever. So we're going to your preliminary card, your UFC Fight Pass card with Jose Quinones up against Leonardo Morales, and then Ricardo Abreu versus Jake Collier. Then we jump on to your Fox Sports 1 preliminary card with Joe Proctor going up against Justin Edwards.
I think I'm going to go Proctor on that one.
And Proctor on that one, too. Chris Wade up against Christos Giagos.
I think I'll do Giagos.
I don't know enough, I don't think, in this one. So I'll go with you. I'm going to
All
go with you. And my first pick on the fight card is Brian Ebersol going up against Omari Akhmedov.
The Harrow, man.
The Harrow. Got to go with the Harrow.
Got to go with the Harrow. I think, Akhmedov's his offensive wrestling is very good. His striking is very good. He's a big, heavy guy who likes to push guys around. He's definitely got heavy punches. Could possibly knock out Ebersol. However, his takedown defense fucking sucks. And I think if Ebersol still uses his wrestling, which he does, he can frustrate and drag this out and get the decision. I definitely will be taking Ebersol in this fight.
You just think he just leave himself open because he's so eager?
His takedown defense just sucks. Like, I don't understand why. His offensive wrestling
His
is
takedown defense is just confusing.
yeah, like just because his offense is relatively good. And he, like I said, he's the bigger, stronger guy. I've seen Ebersol get pushed around before. However, like I said, as long as he can somewhat defend a takedown, which I think he can, and then turn the tables on him, I'm going to take Ebersol in this fight.
All right.
I'm also hoping to see the somersault kick, because that's what Ebersol likes to throw at least
Right.
once in the fight.
At least once in the fight.
And he has won once by knockout.
Which is ridiculous.
It's awesome.
You should never win with a somersault kick.
Somersault kick knockout. In fact, he actually almost got sued because they thought the fight was fixed because he won by somersault knockout.
I like the fight where the guy does 2 somersaults to get away from the guy fighting him.
Yeah. That was a good
I've
one.
never seen that one.
That was a good one.
Sean Jordan up against Derek Lewis on your last preliminary card fight. I got Sean Jordan on this one.
Yeah, I'll take Sean Jordan.
Okay. And then Francisco Rivera going up against Bruce Leroy, Alex Caceres, who I can no longer really hate on anymore because he's definitely shown a lot of...
A lot of improvement.
Yeah.
A lot of
Yeah, his
improvement.
hands. He's got a lot. He's sped up his hands.
Yeah.
I'm still taking Rivera in this fight.
And he can do more on the ground now.
Yeah.
You know, so I can't
He's
hate
always
on him.
been somewhat elusive and definitely creative with his kicks and his strikes. He comes at weird angles, throws a lot of strange combinations.
big time.
His rhythm just throws a lot of guys off.
But at the same time, he's a roller coaster fighter, and it's hard to really, even though he's shown a lot of
Just
improvement.
stay behind him.
It's really hard for me to pick him in this fight, so I got to go with Rivera as well.
Yep.
Then Joe Soto going up against Anthony Birchak. I got picked Soto in my DraftKings.
I would take Soto as well. Soto's a former Bellator champion, also the guy who stepped in on short notice to take on TJ Dillashaw and gave TJ Dillashaw, I would say, a run for his money, but a decent fight, at least for the first couple rounds. I mean, we were there for that one live. He actually did an okay job.
Yeah.
I'm going to take Joe Soto over Birchak.
Cool. That makes me feel better about myself. Have you been picking decently the last couple
I've been
weeks?
doing okay, yeah.
No. 2 weeks
okay.
ago, he did horrible.
Yeah, everybody did horrible on that one, but I did extremely horrible.
Everybody.
I did. That was the Australia
Not
card.
the people who bet on underdogs.
Yeah, I did
fun.
extremely horrible on that one.
And then pick number 3 for me on my thing is Thiago Tavares over Brian Ortega.
Yeah, I think Tavares could definitely take this fight. He's got heavy hands. He's definitely
Got
been
very heavy hands.
been improving.
He's great on the ground when he needs to be.
Yep.
I like him in this fight. And then Dustin Poirier going up against Yancy Medeiros.
This is a tough fight. I mean, I think definitely Poirier is going to take this fight. He's definitely got more tools. I think he can push it. But Yancey, man, this Hawaiian guy has definitely been improving.
Yeah.
He throws heavy hands, really good kicks, which Dustin Poirier doesn't necessarily like. And he's definitely one of these up and coming guys you got to keep watching. I just think overall Poirier is going to catch him by submission in the long run.
It's a hard fight for me to pick, but I think I'd have to go with Yancey on this one, honestly.
All right.
His aggression and tenacity is just
it is definitely something to watch.
yeah, it's pretty wild. You got one on this one, Dennis?
I'm going with Medeiros.
All right.
And then Big Ben Rothwell going up against Matt Mitrione.
This is a tough fight for me to pick as well. I think Mitrione is definitely the more active fighter as far as his stand-up. He definitely likes to move around. He moves around a lot better than most heavyweights. He moves around kind of like a light heavyweight, possibly even a welterweight. He does have heavy hands. However, I just think Ben Rothwell's got the heavier hands, and if he pushes...
Not to mention that right high kick.
Yeah, and if he pushes Mitrione up against the fence, I think he's in for a world of trouble. We saw him take out Overeem. I think Ben Rothwell is going to be the way to go in this fight.
Yeah, Ben Rothwell also was in the IFL back in the day, and he was somebody I liked in there.
Champion for that league.
I wanted him to fight Chris Hordecki. Even though they're in different weight classes, I still wanted that to happen. I got Ben Rothwell in this one. I like his right high kick. He doesn't let it go as often as he did in the IFL. I think he kicked a lot more. I don't know if that's age or what, but he kicked a lot more back then than he does now. But still, I like him in this fight.
Take a Big Ben or Meathead?
I'm going Meathead. I like Meathead because I think he makes a street fight.
Yeah,
True.
He does.
I mean, both our main events here are going to be brawls.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is really cool, which brings us...
The only thing is with the main event and the co-main event, before we get to the last little bit here, is that I don't think either one of these are for title contention or whatever. They're just fights.
Hey, you want to fight?
Just brawler fights. I mean, I think Dustin Poirier should be the co-main event as far as, I mean, that's a title shot possibly, or at least a title contention, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, that's somebody that's moving up in the ranks for a shot. Now, he did just get beat, by Conor McGregor. He moves up in weight, and now he's doing pretty well. I think that, to me, has more implications than the top two fights that we're going to have happen here.
And again, these top two fights, you could probably see at any NASCAR event across the country.
There you go. Tim Boach going up against Dan Henderson. I mean, this is blue collar to the end.
Blue collar balls.
I don't think it's just going to be nothing but American flag T-shirts and empty beer cans throughout New Orleans for this fight. I mean,
American flag T-shirts, empty beer cans, and haymakers from hell.
Right? I mean, the thing is Dan Henderson is going to shuffle around a lot. He's gotten a lot slower with age. His Greco-American Olympic wrestling seems to be gone.
Absolutely. No, his wrestling, I was saying that today. His wrestling is gone.
I don't know what happened to him.
He's got that big overhand right, man.
He don't want to go down. It's hard to get up now.
Yeah. He's going to shuffle around and spam overhand right. Shuffle around, spam overhand right. Whereas Tim Boach, if he can out-shuffle him, and I think he can, I think he's a little faster, he's going to throw some good elbows. He's pretty good in the clinch.
Every day I'm shuffling.
Yeah.
The thing I hate about Dan Henderson is that he's also that guy, though, that ruins other guys' title runs.
Yeah, but it's not like Tim Boach is on a title run.
No. But what I mean, though, is he took somebody out of contention in a fight.
He took out Okami.
Yeah, and that's what frustrates me about
him. He had a very that close split decision with Hector Lombard, which I don't think he should have won. But I mean, overall, both these guys are going to be brawling it out. They both like dirty boxing. They both like the clinch. I don't know what happened to Dan Henderson's wrestling. We'll see.
I think Dennis is right. He doesn't want to try to get back up.
Yeah, he's old.
Yeah. And both the fights have the ability, if they end quickly, then it'll bode well for whoever ends the fight quickly.
Both of them got heavy hands, man.
But if they go long,
I think Dan's chin's a little weaker than Boach's at this point. Didn't used to be, but at this point, I think it is.
Yeah, both fights go 3, because Dan's got to fight 5, right? Because they're the main event.
Yeah, I don't.
So it's got to go 5 rounds, right?
It's good. Yeah.
So if both those fights go 3 and 5, then this was just we just watched some people at a NASCAR. But if it ends quickly, then whoever ends it quickly, they're going to move.
Actually,
to
I
do
think
something.
I changed your mind. Do you know who I think is going to win this fight? Merca is winning this fight.
You're going to have
7-Eleven
Don
and
Fry.
Slurpees.
Don Fry's going to be watching this one from ringside.
Yeah.
Is Don Fry still doing the fight breakdowns?
I haven't seen one lately.
No, because I would love to see him break this one down. That's awesome.
Merca.
So this is happening tomorrow night. It's on Fox Sports 1. Make sure you check your local listings for time. I'm assuming it's going to be standard 5 o'clock start time.
Yeah, usually.
That's
coming from
time.
the Smoothie King Center in New Orleans, Louisiana.
That's a thing.
Smoothie King?
Yeah. Interesting. So tune in, check it out. Thanks for listening. Tell your friends. You can get our podcast, Split Decision, on Spreaker, Stitcher, and SoundCloud. You can also subscribe on iTunes or get us on our website, which is splitdecisionmma.com. Those who like on Facebook at Split Decision MMA Podcast, or on Twitter or Instagram at SD_MMA. That pretty much wraps it up for this week. So from the Ruloff family in studios, it's Bueller and Dodge saying have a good night. We'll see you at the fights.